Let's see if I can explain this with some coherence, because it's a very important factor. This is the log right here that was on this terrace that during the rainy season or the big rainstorms we had, I was a little concerned about. So I put plastic over it. I'm Justin Hitt from Prosperity Homestead. We're going to talk a little bit about how to get this out of here. Now, if this is a really big stump, it's going to be harder to get out of here than it would be otherwise, because it's it's going to damage this bund. Remember, the bund is very important for the structural integrity of the slope. And as I've talked about in a past video, I actually had some students that were renting a property from me, and there was a bund like this, not a terrace not unlike this, and they actually ran up and down the outside edge of it. And running up and down the outside edge, it actually created a little track. And then what happened is when it got a heavy rain, water saturated on the top, and it couldn't soak in fast enough, and then it ran over the edge and then basically cut the slope, giant slope. Now, what do you think is the biggest challenge about taking this out if it's a big log? Well, all the soil has to be replaced. So if I dig this thing out, I can't imagine it being that big, because we were checking this stuff while we're putting it in here. We're tracking it in, and I'm walking around picking up logs. But if this is big, I've got to replace it with soil. So whatever soil I dig out, or whatever gap or space I dig out, I have to compact soil back into this space to maintain the integrity of the outer bund. Because remember, that bund is the integrity of your terrace. So you can see how nice everything is here. There's a little bit of slump right here, but it's not bad. And then grass is taken a little bit, but you can see where the 90-degree days has kind of seared and burned some of that grass. But what I'm going to need to do, and I want you to understand this, because when you're doing terraces, this is important. A small terrace is structurally the same as a big terrace. So what I'm standing on is a little tiny terrace that I made so I can stand on it, and so that I can walk out here and work on this piece of it looks like a stump that's in here. Now, stumps are all gangly and different shapes and everything like that. And so, I don't know how big this is. I don't know that it doesn't have legs and running around here. So as I'm investigating, like an archaeologist, I'm digging out around the stump, but instead of letting those materials roll down the hill, I'm tracking in those materials and making a small little basin or a little terrace. Do you see what I'm talking about here? So as I get my tools, and this is probably better done with a pickaxe, but I don't have a pickaxe, I have a shovel. So I'm going to maintain stability on this outer edge. Excuse the shadows. See, right here is going to maintain stability. I'm walking on it. Yeah, I got a tripod in the truck, but I don't feel like setting it up. Anyway, so what I'm going to come over here and do is I'm going to start chipping away and try to figure out what I got. Now look, notice it's moving. Okay, now temptation is to feel like I've conquered something and push that out, let it just roll down the hill like I'm the manly man and I've just done something. But again, we're talking about integrity of our slope. We're talking about the terrace that we spent all this money to build. Okay, we spent all this money to build this big old terrace here, and we're going to compromise it by being a tough guy? No. What we're going to do is we're going to remove this material over here. Let me get my camera on it right here. We're going to move this material over here, and we're going to completely, as if it was a dinosaur bone, excavate the stump piece. Take it out, move it upslope. If it's heavy to carry, I can always put it in the back of the truck, or I could be even more manly and fling it off the top down there into the woods. No, I'm going to come through here, and as I'm removing the soil, I'm raking off my mulch and setting it aside. I'm taking my soil, pushing it upslope, taking it upslope. It takes more energy to send it upslope, but I'm going to need every bit of that soil to put back in this hole. Now, I have a wheelbarrow over there. I'm going to put most of the soil upslope and compact it to build out that bund, but then when it comes time with the wheelbarrow, I'll just get a pile of material and bring it over here to fill it in. But I'll be filling on top of what? This micro tiny terrace that I built while I was working on, and I put my heels into the hill, and I just walk on a little terrace while I'm working on getting this out of here. Because it could be this long. It could be this long. It could be much longer. I don't know. But what's going to happen is I'm going to excavate it and have a terrace set behind, and then I can just keep loading soil onto that terrace and compact it down until I'm back at a little bit above the surface level of the terrace itself. So I'm compacting the soil as we go because I don't have heavy equipment out here. I don't have anything that I could just scoop this out and put something in and track it back down. I'm working by hand. Now, if I had a pickaxe or something like that, I probably could do it a little bit cleaner because I could just cut a trail, little terrace trail on the side here, and then I could just pull that piece of wood out and then put it up slope. But do you understand the point I'm giving you here? Big terraces work the same way small terraces do. Small terraces are necessary to get our compaction in place, to have a stable working environment. You know, as I'm packing this soil down here, I'm making a more stable working environment to work on. And so it doesn't matter if I'm on this terrace, only like 5 feet above the ground, or if I'm on a terrace that's 50 feet above the ground, I have a stable place to work. I'm compacting in the soil as we go, so that if we get a rain event, we have a stable shelf. And then finally, I'm taking this material out and not leaving as much soil as I can, but I'm not damaging anything downslope, because as you can see, it's already starting to take grass. Okay? Now another factor we could do is we could come in with a large pole, like a paddle, and smack down all this these clumps and things to start breaking that smooth. But again, like I described in a past video, I'd rather trench the bottom and throw material upslope. Go ahead and establish grass and then just fill that in with additional fill, rather than breaking down the material that's there, because the material that's there is stable. We still want to keep taking rocks out. There's a rock right where I'm pointing my finger in my shadow here. But we still want to take the rocks out, but we'll do the same thing. Cut a little shelf, take the rocks out, fill it back with dirt, leave behind this 45-degree angle that we have, or your 30-degree angle, whatever angle you have, but we have something that's going to slow and spread the water. This little micro terrace that we're working on is going to be on contour for at least the distance I needed to get this piece of wood out of here. And then of course we let it recover, put some grass on it, grass seed down, we throw some mulch on it, and then we're back and it's repaired. It's not just dragged out of there. So I hope that makes sense. If you're doing an earthworks, you want to make sure that you get everything in place, because again, you can have massive storms, and then afterwards a lot of heat, and the grass not come along as fast as you want it to come along. It's looking good, but not as nice as I would like it. You can also have, and I just noticed, this is slumping right here. See that crack? So I'm going to go ahead and rake that out and build a better bund. So I'll build a better bund above it. And how far does that slumping go? That slumping goes to about right here. So that's something I definitely want to clean up. Now, slumping means that water is coming over the top here and it's soaking behind the soil on the outside. So how do I fix that? Again, I rake off all the mulch. I cut a level terrace right there where the slump is happening. I pack it down. I go get the wheelbarrow, dump a few more loads of material on here. I pack all that material down, tamp it in place, and then I make sure the water doesn't go over it. Okay, so I've created another bund on this overall back of this terrace. Ask your questions in the comments below. I'm going to get to work here. It is nice and breezy out here, but it is hot. Again, I want to make sure you're able to do these things, because Earthworks terraces are a powerful way to get better access to space, to start getting, in this case, the containers on site, and ultimately to get better use out of the land without doing a lot of damage to it. In fact, we're stabilizing it by reducing the flow of water across the land, slowing and spreading that water to soak into the ground, and overall provide us greater gives us more space to work. I'm Justin Hitt from Prosperity Homestead. Visit www.prosperityhomestead.org with your questions. Thanks for watching.